This jumped onto my radar recently, and it's very disturbing to say the least. Have you heard about what's called active clubs? They're apparently gaining popularity in Canada, but specifically Ontario, and more specifically, again, the Hamilton and Niagara region. The clubs portray themselves as promoting community, fitness, and Canada's European heritage. But these groups are not benign social organizations. They're part of a transnational movement grounded in fascist ideology, white supremacy, misogyny, and violent extremism. I'm going to show you an unedited CBC News clip in a minute, and I beg you to watch it. I know it's like 7 minutes long, but well worth the watch. Before I do, though, I wanted to add, these are groups that show up at protests with mass deportation signs and anti-DEI signs. Most recently, one of the groups were spotted outside the CNE grounds in Toronto during the exhibition, chanting and championing for Shiloh Hendricks. You remember her? She was the lady who called an autistic boy in a park the N-word somewhere in the US. Well, she got convicted of a hate crime and started a GoFundMe to help with her legal battles, and it raised like $1 million or something like that. So this group was outside the CNE grounds chanting that Shiloh Hendricks did nothing wrong. And they are physically preparing for a race war. They have been engaging in fight training right out in public spaces, practicing hand-to-hand combat, and developing fight skills. And they've also been engaging in more covert military training with weapons too. All right, here's the clip. Thanks in advance for watching.
White nationalist groups in Canada are coming out of the shadows. And they're building their combat skills. These new groups are part of a global movement, calling themselves active clubs. In Canada, they have links to terrorist groups and extremist militia-like organizations. And they try to hide where they are. They blur their faces and hide their surroundings. We dug through their social media channels and investigated hundreds of videos and images posted by these groups to reveal who they are and where they train. Well, let's go see what this gym has to say. If you've never heard of an active club, it might seem harmless. Who doesn't want to be active, right? In reality, they recruit white people to tribe and train. Basically, they're fascist fight clubs, and they're on the rise around the world. In Canada, this movement overlaps with violent terror groups. Take Atomwaffen Division. It was a neo-Nazi group linked to multiple murders in the US. It was listed as a terrorist entity in Canada in 2021. That's when many former members joined active clubs. And as we're about to show you, there's a bit of a theme here.
This is probably one of the fastest growing far-right extremist threats in Canada.
Now, these groups say they're not looking for fistfights in the streets, yet they often refer to a looming global conflict and a time when civility will be unnecessary.
These are people that in many cases are training for what they believe is to be an upcoming race war. The potential for violence and the potential for something catastrophic to happen is extremely high.
One of the main groups behind this masked demonstration in Toronto is Nationalist 13, or NS13, based out of Hamilton, Ontario. Members are open about their views. In this video from NS13's Telegram channel, one of their members poses with a Nazi lighter. On Hitler's birthday, the group called him one of the greatest men to ever live, saying, "One day we will see his vision come true."
So in a post like this, even though there may be no mention of the Jewish people, when they're referring to Jews, and in this particular case, anti-Semitism would clearly fall within the scope of the criminal code prohibition.
So you think this is hate speech?
Yeah, I think a lot of what's said in the posts that you provided me with would constitute hate speech under the criminal code.
And these stickers that they put up in Hamilton's parks say National Socialists, Nazis. And here's where we find another link to a terrorist group. The Canadian Proud Boys disbanded in 2021 after they were designated a terrorist entity, following the January 6th US Capitol riot. This is Brandon Lapointe. We find him wearing a Proud Boys shirt in multiple images. He's now a prominent member of NS13, and we match his tattoos, rings, and his shorts in this image posted by the group. We locate where they've been in Hamilton, in city parks, like Myrtle Park, here. You can see that this building matches exactly. We went to this location and every other to confirm ourselves. They've been sparring in broad daylight, like in this video from Gage Park in Hamilton. You can see the bathroom here and dome here match.
Yeah, this is Gage Park. Oh, well, shoot. And that's even closer towards the children's garden specifically. Ugh, that's really upsetting to see.
Yeah, I think it's a serious public safety concern. The rise of extremist organizing is a national security threat.
So, public parks are one thing, but we also find them in privately owned gyms, which they try to hide by obscuring the images they share. Nationalist 13 have a ton of pictures at this gym, with members often sparring or posing in the boxing ring. In another photo from the gym, this NS13 member is wearing a Will to Rise shirt. Will to Rise is a clothing brand that markets itself to active clubs. There aren't many clues visible in these videos, but we spot this one. In this video, you can see the edge of this boxing glove decal here. It matches up with this promotional video for Amazing Fitness, a popular and family-owned gym in downtown Hamilton. The ring and the windows match too. And upstairs in the weightlifting section, this portion of the wall matches exactly the area behind the man in the Will to Rise shirt. Remember Brandon Lapointe, the NS13 member we identify? Here he is at Amazing Fitness. So we drive to the gym to share our findings. The manager says he had no idea this was happening. A few days later, he sends an email and tells us, "We have no affiliation whatsoever with these individuals or ideology, and we categorically reject any form of hate or discrimination."
The fact that the gym owner doesn't know that they were training doesn't surprise me at all. It just goes to show how manipulative these groups are, that they are going to lie about what they're doing.
Now, let's switch gears for a second. Besides Nationalist 13, there's a new group called Second Sons. Second Sons doesn't call themselves an active club, but they have the same MO. It's an offshoot of Diagolon, a group that's on the radar of Canadian law enforcement, which considers them an extremist militia-like organization. And Second Sons and Nationalist 13, they actually know each other. This is Alex Friend, a prominent member of Diagolon and now Second Sons.
We're doing a great space with the guys from Nationalist 13.
Vrend is also an open white supremacist.
It's very simple. No Jews. No Jews.
Here's Vrend posing at a gym that we identify as Hammer BJJ by matching up the wall padding and light switch with images from social media. We drive there too to talk to the owner. This is Rob Barham, the owner of Hammer BJJ, and he says he had no idea this happened at his school.
I don't affiliate myself with any sort of white supremacy groups or any sort of supremacy from any faction, any race, any culture. I have a firm policy that I don't want those types of behaviors or those types of energies in this place. I'm trying to protect that and trying to foster into something good for, the kids of the community that can come here and better their life.
This is something we're seeing happen across the martial arts community, is this kind of insidious growth of far-right influence within it. And to see something that is so positive to me and many other people being co-opted like this, it's not something I like to see.
Second Sons also posted a photo that they say is from Hamilton. But that's not accurate. This photo is actually from Niagara, from this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. Niagara BJJ Well. Again, we go and share our findings. They told us they didn't know Second Sons had been training there, and now that they know, they're not welcome there anymore.